getting involved in it now, and part of gardening properly, and I suppose just being kind to the planet and making use of waste stuff, is being able to compost. And for a lot of people, composting is just, I'm going to be feeding the rats maybe, so you want to find out how to do it properly. And I have a lady in studio with me who has a course, who'll be running a course, or involved in the course rather, who will be able to give you that information. She's a fabulous name. Her name is Melissa O'Cleary, and she's of the Top of the City Community Garden. You're very welcome to the studio. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you, Maria.
Now, this is Top of the City Community Garden is off Barrack Street, and you're doing this in conjunction with Composting Ireland, because it's not as easy as just chucking everything into a bucket and hoping for the best, is it, when you want to compost things?
Not really. Like, you need to know a little bit of the basics, yes, before you can do it. And as you said, you can run into problems very easily.
And these courses, there's two separate courses. There's a course on the 24th of June. These are online courses, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The 24th of June at 7 p.m, which is the household waste workshop. And then the garden waste workshop will be on the 1st of July also at 7. And these are free.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yay. So at this stage, I'd like to thank Waterford City and County Council, who kindly gave us a grant to run these workshops as part of their waste prevention scheme. So otherwise we wouldn't be able to run them. We came up with the idea because the Top of the City Community Garden is that you're mentioning lockdown there. Well, lockdown was great because a group of volunteers from the area got together, and under the stewardship of Justina Traore, a Polish girl who lives nearby, we brought this sort of empty dump wasteland on St. Carthage's Avenue back to life again, and it's now being run as a community garden. We have 14 beds, so people are growing their own vegetables.
Fantastic.
And it's great now to see all the vegetables coming up, So one of our principles really is sustainable gardening. We don't want to use any chemicals at all in the gardening of either chemical fertilizers or weed killers. So obviously composting would be crucial for that. So we got in touch with Composting Ireland, and our composting trainer Betty Keogh is going to come down to the garden, and she's going to show us how to set up a composting system. But as you were saying, because of COVID again, the composting is online, which is great because it means people from anywhere can actually tune into it. So that's a real bonus. And the first workshop will be focusing on household waste. It'll be focusing on the very basics, so absolute beginners who've never composted before.
I didn't realise, not that I'm not a gardener by any manner of means. I'm listening to poor John Maguire talk to me about gardening for years and years and years, and we still know nothing, and that's not his fault. I didn't know there was the two types, the household waste and the garden waste.
Well, actually you can use both, and you can mix them both together. It's more, I suppose, the first workshop is, well, either workshop, anybody, the general public can come to either workshop, but the first workshop is more it focused on the individual householder, and the second workshop would be about anybody who'd like to set up a community garden composting system, or even any group like a school or a workplace who might want to set up a system. But they'll both be dealing with the very basics, so people can join either. And the first will be dealing with garden waste as well, because that's a large part of people's household waste as well.
And I think there's a balance that you have to have, isn't there? You can't just chuck, as I said, you can't just chuck everything in.
Green and brown materials, and you have to have the right mixture of both for the compost to work, But I'd also like to stress that, because I've been composting for years, and I still go, what should I, maybe I should have done more of this. So the workshops will be great for people who have questions about composting, who have been composting and might have, come up with some problems, or, the compost this year wasn't as good as last year, and why, or whatever. So there'll be a question and answer session at the workshops.
And I say again, these are free, people. These are free. How do people get involved? if they want to be part of it, what do they do?
You can go to the Composting Ireland website, compostingireland.ie, and learn to compost, and you can register there.
Okay.
And you can also get information on the top of the City Community Garden Facebook page.
Excellent. That'll be good. That'll be a nice course for people, because it is amazing how many people are discovering their own gardens.
Yeah.
They might have paid somebody to cut the grass there for years and years, and now they're going I can do this myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose as well, as you know, climate change is such a big issue now, and we're finally waking up to the fact that we have to look after our planet. So and people then wonder, what can I do individually? Well, this is one thing you can do.
It's kind of a win-win, isn't it? Because you don't have to buy the compost for number one. You're putting less things in the bin that don't need to be in the bin in the first place, because you can make something else of them, i.e. compost. So there's kind of no losers here.
You're gaining, because you're making your own fertilizer. You don't have to go. You're saving the bogs from all the peat, in the garden centres. So it's a win-win situation.
And the first one is on June the 24th. They're at 7 p.m. They are online, and as you said, Composting Ireland website or the top of the City Community Garden Facebook page will have any more information that people need. Before I let you go, I have to ask you about your name, because I was looking at this. I had an email that I first saw your name, and it's spelled M-A-L. Is it iFollow? O-S-A.
It's actually M-A-O-S.
Here, I've spelled it wrong. M-A-O. So I was looking at this going, how do I say this? How do I pronounce this name? O'Cleary is your name. What's the origin of that name?
Well, Melissa is an old Irish name, and it comes from two words, Moel, which is
Moelisa.
Moelisa, yeah.
Okay.
So the word Moel in Irish means bald, but actually and I used to be called Bald Jesus as a nickname in my teenage years when people discovered that, but actually it meant tonsured for the love of Jesus, or devotee of Jesus.
That's a very unusual name. Are you the only one that you know?
Actually, I thought so, but you'd be surprised. I went on Facebook thinking that I could go just as Melissa, and there was something like 30 of them around. So
really?
I know.
I'd never heard it now, but it's a very nice name.
Thank you.
And thanks I'm fascinated by names. But thanks very much for coming in, and I hope the course goes really, really well for everybody, and everybody gets the benefit of it.
Thank you very much, Maria. And thank you for inviting me.
No bother, a pleasure to have you anytime. So that's Moelisa O'Cleary of the Top of the City Community Garden. Those dates again, if you just want to make a note of them: Household Waste Workshop on the 24th of June at 7 p.m, Garden Waste Workshop on July 1st, also at 7 p.m. These are online, and you'll get more information on the Composting Ireland Workshop and the Top of the City Community Garden Facebook page. That's where you get all the information. Thank you very much, Moelisa. I'll get back after these.
Time to give your home some love this summer?